What's up, guys? I'm Grandmaster Shaymin, and welcome back to episode 4 of our Robotics Notes Elite playthrough. I hope you guys have enjoyed the previous 3 episodes. If you guys have missed any episodes, I highly recommend going back and checking that out, as we have had some important plot points going forward. I will say the build-up is pretty slow, but if any of you guys have played visual novels in the past, you know that the build-up is slow, especially for longer ones. Steins Gate, Little Busters, Robotics Notes. You know, these longer games, they almost always have, you know, kind of a build-up, because this is in the same universe as Steins Gate. This is going on in the same world as Steins Gate. You know that there are a lot of points that are going to connect and be important later on. So it's important that we get this stuff now and this information now, as they're all going to kind of come to a head later on in the visual novel. And of course, we will be playing the sequel visual novel as well. That one I know nothing about, because there's no anime on the sequel. The sequel is just, you know, I believe them after graduating. I have no idea what to really expect from that one, so I'm really excited for that one. I think it's also longer than this one. I'm not entirely sure, but make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe as well. If this series does pretty well, I might start releasing like 2 episodes every other day and an episode every day. Just because I want to try and get through this relatively quickly, but I don't want the episodes to be like an hour long, so people can, you know, come in later on and it would be fine, you know. But without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. The metal tower stands high above ground, quietly but accurately transmitting its noise into space. Oop. It's as though it's absorbing the sound from its surroundings, converting it into the noise it emits. The chirps of the cicadas and crickets, the flaps of the birds' wings, even the sounds of leaping insects. No matter how carefully one listens, such sounds do not exist here. In the center of the tower there is in a space 30 meters in radius, is what could be a geyser of death spewing into hell. The grating sound is like a stream from the underworld. Wait, was she introduced this early in the anime? It's Irie, right? Yeah. In this space filled with the silence of death, a young girl whispers.
Number 2887をお伝えします。
Her bare feet produce no sounds with each step she takes, and she looks up at the sky and whispers to nobody.
日本標準時、西暦2019年6月12日18時9分現在。
I don't remember her being introduced this early in the anime. But to be fair, there's so much more content in the visual novel than the anime, so it makes sense. She holds a single pure white feather in her
状
hand.
況には変化ありません。
She whispers mechanically, with no sign of emotion. She shows no sign of minding the noise.
以上、実証実験経過ナンバー2887をお伝えしました。
Just then, the wind blows. It's strong enough to cause the plants to sway, however. Neither the girl's hair nor the edges of her soft clothes budge an inch. Only the white feather in the girl's hand floats gently into the air. It melts into the dust-colored sky. While her gaze follows the feather's path, the girl, expressionless until then, narrows her eyes in a somewhat heart-trending way. She quietly speaks into the wind.
その目、誰の目？
See, I'm curious about this line, because if you've not watched the anime, like all of the anime, you know, Chaos Child, Chaos Head, Robotics Notes, and Steins Gate. In Chaos Head, whose eyes are they, is a really big part of Chaos Head. I'm not sure if they're going to make any references to the show itself, but that is a huge part of the show of Chaos Head. So I think that's a reference there, and I believe since they're all in the same universe, it's probably I don't know. I've seen I don't know. I don't know if we'll get to see anyone from Steins Gate or Chaos Head in the future of the game, but that would be ideal. The first bell of the morning rings as we exit the bus and head for the entrance. Akio doesn't even bother opening her umbrella as she steps off the bus and makes a dash for the exit. Our entrance. I mean, that's true. She briefly turns back to me and I wave her off with my hand. I'm sure they'll let it slide if I'm a few minutes late. I'll stroll into the entrance by myself. At that moment, I hear the strange shout of a girl and could not stop. That voice just now came from the gymnasium, didn't it? The door's still open, so I take a look. I see a lone girl inside. The first bell already rang, so what's she doing? There's nobody else around. The judo club uses the gym for morning practice, so I assumed she was one of them. But there's no judo gi in sight. On closer inspection, I recognize her small animal-like stature, short haircut, and boyish face. I'm pretty sure she's one of my classmates. What's her name? Crap, I can't remember. I don't think we've ever really spoken to each other. I look through the tag information on my phone droid. Oh right, she's Juna Daitoku. Now I remember. We were in the same class last year. And she's in the karate club? Yeah, that matches up. She's been doing a kata right now. She silently yet furiously repeats a series of defensive body moves. See, maybe I'm just stupid, but I don't remember her from the anime. Am I stupid? Let me know in the comments section down below. The combination of a precise movement and silence creates a unique sense of tension in the air. The speed at which she moves her fist is hard to follow by eye, and her occasional jump kicks are razor sharp. Maybe that's because she looks like a little boy. She doesn't really look that boyish. I mean, sure, she's got short hair, but there are plenty of girls with short hair. It's easier to maintain. I personally don't like it because, you know, I'd much rather have long hair. But, or the katas like this no matter who does them. Anyhow, why is she practicing at a time like this, and in her school uniform, no less? She lets out a kind of cute shout as she thrusts her fist in front of her. She straightens out and bows. I guess she's done. She wipes the sweat from her brow like she's just finished a hard day's work and turns to exit the gymnasium. That's when she notices me.
Oh.
Our eyes meet. To be honest, we aren't familiar enough to exchange morning greetings. Heck, I have no idea if she knows who I am. But now that we've clearly made eye contact, I can't just walk away without saying anything. I decide to greet her.
Ohayo, Daitoku-san.
Ohayo, Daitoku-san. Os?
ヤシオくん。そんなところにいて、濡れちゃわない？
She seems to remember my name at least.
まあ、少し。
もしかして、
Why is she so hunched
ずっ
over?
と見てた？
Are you watching the whole time?
見てたよ。
Yeah?
そっか。恥ずかしいな。
Aw, Daitobu. She starts squirming, her face bright red. She looks even more like a small animal
いつ
now.
もこの時間にあれやってんの？
今日はたまたま今朝弟が風邪ひいちゃってバタバタしててうちで練習できなかったから。
That makes sense.
へえ。
それで今見たことは誰にも言わないでほしいな。
I mean, she's just practicing. I don't see what there is to be embarrassed about.
なんで？
だって恥ずかしいもん。
そうなの？
そうだよ。
Why?
うん。
I'm kind of with Kaito on this one, I don't know. For some reason, we stand around silently for a while. This is really awkward, I'm not gonna
あ、
lie.
それより、よれ、なっちゃったよ。早く行かなきゃ。先生来ちゃう。
ああ、そうだった。
じゃあ、先行くね。
Juna Daitoku says hurriedly and runs off towards the entrance. Her steps are light, like she has springs on her feet. From behind, she looks like a junior high boy wearing a sailor uniform. It's kind of charming. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I glance outside the window and see no sign of rain stopping. It's coming down hard since this morning. It's a little chilly in short sleeves. Ah, sure it is. But hey, it's finally lunch break. I watch my classmates pull their lunches out from their bags. The class rep stands in front of the blackboard. I'll be collecting the money for lunches now. Now, what should I do? It's raining, but I'm thinking I'll just grab some bread at Mizuka-san's store and...
普通科3年2組ロボット研究部の瀬宮明穂さんと八代海斗くんは至急職員室に来なさい。繰り返します。普通科3年2組ロボット研究部の瀬宮明穂さんと八代海斗くんは至急職員室に来なさい。
何それ。
I'm momentarily dumbfounded by the sudden broadcast. Akio quickly stands up from her seat. When our eyes meet, she flashes me a triumphant grin.
時は来た。
そのリアクションはどうかと思うよ、アキちゃん。
Our classmates are giving us weird looks.
やしよ、一体何やらかしたんだ。
ついにロボ部に配布宣告なんじゃないか。
配布される前に教頭と勝負してきたらどうよ。
Ignoring their heckling and questions, I shrug my shoulders as I exit the classroom. Akio follows after me. She looks excited. You could say there's a twinkle of hope in her eyes. Her whole posture speaks to how happy she is.
今の放送の声、教頭の臼井先生だよね。
さあね、あんまり必須ってなかったからわかんないな。
これって間違いなく部費の件だよ。教頭先生、ようやく会ってくれる気になったんだ。たぎってきた。
本当にそんな希望的観測でいいのかな。っていうか、なんで俺まで呼び出されるんだろう。
カイだってロボ部だからに決まってるでしょ。さあ、行くよ。
I followed the high-spirited Akiho into the faculty room, gently running my hand over my stomach. Couldn't this have waited until after I had lunch?
失礼します。
That is disappointing. Akiho yanks open the door and announces her arrival in a loud voice, boldly stepping into the faculty room. I politely nod to the faculty around us and follow her inside. As I explained, this whole thing started with Akiho. In April, there was a student council meeting. Club budgets were to be determined there, so Akio attended and demanded a tenfold increase to our funding. I did my best to stop her beforehand, but despite the club being a shadow of its former self, it was well funded. Other clubs complained about it all the time. Akio just had to go and throw oil onto the fire. She refused to back down, and naturally the council had enough of it. Akio got in trouble once the VP caught wind. Things got worse when she started making her demands directly to the VP. It certainly didn't help that Akio wasn't the least bit repentant. In the end, the VP lost her mind over it. And so here we are, with all the funding of to the Robot Club on indefinite hold. Clearly she wants us to cool our heads. And that about sums up the current state of affairs, got it?
教頭先生、ロボ部の瀬宮明穂と八代海斗です。
Oh god. Look at her freaking face. Damn. She looks so mad. The vice principal looks at Akio and responds with silence. I retreat when faced with her intensity. The vice principal, Usui, started working at this school 4 years ago. I don't think I've ever seen her smile. She seems like the stubborn mom who'd been obsessed with how her kids are taught. She's always strict too. During assembly, she barks her orders at the student body, using a mic on stage. It's a sight to behold. People here are fairly easygoing, but which makes her pretty unusual. But I guess there are faculty who don't live here. Nonetheless, the vice principal looks as menacingly as always today. It's extremely clear to me that she's in an awful mood. I don't think this is going to go as well as Akio seems to believe.
部費の件ですよね。 ようやく決断してもらったみたいでありがとうございます。そうと決まれば善は急げです。今後のスケジュールを考えると今すぐにでも欲しいんですけど。
Akio's words and actions, while innocent, are putting me on edge. Who knows when the vice principal is going to flip her lid at this point.
瀬宮さん、どうやら頭はまだ冷めていないようですわね。では、あなたが正当だと考える非常識な部費請求の理由について改めて聞きましょうか。
Or the fact that she's not getting angry is scary in and of itself. She'd normally start freaking out right now, but this calmness makes me feel like she's in control. Not good.
やだな、それはもう何度も話しましたよ。
改めてと言っているのですよ。
Akio flashes me a troubled expression for just a moment, straightens up her back and starts explaining.
来年の2月に東京万博が開かれます。今回の万博は別名ロボット万博って言われてるくらいで、世界中のロボットが集まってくると予想されてるんです。で、ここからが重要なんですけど、万博期間中に全ての出展作品を対象にコンテストが行われます。そして最終的にグランプリが選ばれる、世界で最も優秀で洗練されたロボットが決まるわけです。しかも今回の万博はこれまでと違って一般参加が許されてます。コンテストの対象にもなります。
I'm just letting the I know it's in Japanese, but I'm letting the game kind of say their bit, and then I'll I add commentary because I mean they went through all the trouble of voice acting their lines, so I might as well let them.
というわけでうちらロボ部はこの東京万博に正義の巨大ロボット頑張れる試作1号機で出場します。でもあれを完成させるには今の部費じゃ全然足りなくて、半年後の完成に間に合わせるには少しでも多くのお金をつぎ込むしかないわけで。
Yep, that is Akio's reasoning. She's determined to enter our club into the Tokyo Expo, and this is one dream she refuses to budge on. Hell, I want to support her too if possible, but there are so many hurdles in the way.
瀬宮さん、あなた何も反省してませんわね。今説明した内容は以前と何も変わっていないじゃありませんこと。
当然です。
万博に出たいからお金をくださいなんて言い分が通用すると思っているのですか。ましてやロボ部はここ最近結果を出していない。
You also have to have, like she said, you have to have evidence to back up your claim. You can't just say, oh, well, we're going to go to the expo. Well, what have you done lately that makes me think that you're going to go to the expo? You know what I mean?
あの図体ばかり大きいロボットだって。
正義の巨大ロボット頑張れる試作1号機、通称はガンツクワンです。
何でもよろしいですわ。そのロボットだってもう8年も作り続けているのに完成する見込みはないのでしょう。
だからそれをあと半年で完成させるために部費を。
2人しか部員がいないのではここで部費を出しても無駄に終わるに決まっています。
そんなことないです。必ず完成させます。
To be fair, money solves a lot of issues. Because if you have money, you can hire people to help build it with you. If you have the designs ready for it, you could pay engineers and stuff. I mean, to be fair, I don't think the school has enough money to pay engineers, but I'm just saying. She said no amount of money could help you, but I disagree with that. Definitely, if you have a lot of money, like they were talking about how a bunch of the other companies have already started making the, robots. So it makes sense that, companies with money would be able to have an advantage.
根拠はありますの？
根性で。
お話になりません。そもそもあんな大きなロボットである必要はないでしょう。もっと学生らしい身の丈に合ったものを作るべきですわ。それなら瀬宮さんが要求したような過剰な部費も必要なくなり。
それでもガンツクワンはロボ部の汗と涙の結晶なんです。あの子を万博に持っていくのがうちの夢なんだ。これは絶対に譲れません。
わからない子ですね。
認めたくないものだな。自分自身の 若さゆえの過ちというものを。
なんですって？
アキちゃん、どさくさに紛れて何言ってんの？
I know Akiho can get emotional. I know plenty well how strong her feelings are for the robot club, but this isn't how we win over the vice principal, I agree. The two of them glare at one another. If I'm not careful, I'll get dragged into their beef. The teachers seem to agree as the faculty room is silent.
では瀬宮さん、こうしましょう。
Unexpectedly, the one to break the silence is the vice
ロ
principal.
ボット研究部としてまず結果を出しなさい。
結果？
It's true.
ロボ部創設当時、あなたのお姉さんはまず結果を出して同好会を正式な部へと昇格させたのですから、あなたもそれに習うべきでしょう。
It's true. Oh crap, I've got a bad feeling about this.
長深田先生。
はい。
As the sound of the vice principal's sharp voice, Michi, dozing off on his seat, jumps to his feet. He basically tumbles his way over to the vice principal's desk.
京都先生、なんでしょう？
先日先生がおっしゃっていたロボットの大会についてもう一度説明してください。
再来週の日曜日に東京でロボワンが開催されます。
Okay.
もちろん瀬宮さんたちもご存知ですね。
Robo 1 is a hobby robot competition. Entrants from all over Japan pit their robots against each other in combat. Its history goes back 15 years, and due to the robot boom, broadcasts for Robo 1 get high viewership ratings. The year that the Robot Club began as a student association, they won the championship in their debut appearance. That victory is what the vice principal was referencing earlier. That was the great thing that Misa Ne did. Convincing the school to promote the association into a club. Although these days, it's just a past glory that'll remain forever out of reach.
それに出ろと？
Not just enter, win.
その通りです。ただし出るだけではなく優勝してきなさい。
See, I feel like win is unfair. I feel like you should be like, you gotta place top 3. Because like, top 3 is still insanely difficult. But like, if you lose in the championship, you should still be considered pretty dang good to potentially, you know, get this robot done or whatever, the funding that they need, you know? I feel like it's kind of cliche to be like, oh, you've got to win the tournament. That's what you got to do. But again, I feel like that's not realistic. You know, you want to give someone a very, very, very difficult goal, especially in this case, but you don't want it to be completely unreachable because then you're just kind of being a bitch, you know what I mean? I feel like if she were to say top 3, it would still be insanely difficult and prove their merit, but they wouldn't necessarily have to just place 1 or they're dead, you know what I mean?
それが結果を出すということですわ。
I mean, not necessarily. Like, you can't sit here and say the Miami Heat didn't do something great, even though they lost to the Los Angeles Lakers in the finals. You know, they were huge underdogs, and they didn't have weren't given a chance to beat the LA Lakers, and they still forced Game 6, and they still won the first 3 rounds, only losing what, twice, three times, twice. So you can't sit here and say they didn't achieve something great, even though they didn't win. You know, it's kind of the same concept. Just because you're talking about all of the robots in Japan, placing top 3 is a very difficult and challenging goal, but it's achievable. Well, you know, sitting here and being like, oh, well, you have to win or else you're not good is a little bit...
結果を出したなら瀬宮さんの請求している部費について学校としてもきちんと検討しましょう。
That's just to be considered.
ただしもし優勝できなかった場合は
It's disbanded. Vice Principal clears the throat, seemingly creating a dramatic pause on purpose.
即刻ロボ部は廃部とします。
See, I don't know. I feel like that part's a little too generic, you know? I feel like, come on now. The generic, you've got to win this event or else it's disbanded. You see that in the Idol anime. You see that in pretty much every club anime that there is that isn't just like a slice of life comedy thing. it is almost always you've got to win or you're disbanded. And then they win because obviously, usually, I mean, I guess it's not always the case. Or sometimes they do really well and then lose, and then they either don't get disbanded or they do, but then they fight back. But it's almost always they win or they come in like second place, and then they still achieve enough results to keep their club. That's pretty underhanded tactics for an adult,
あなたたちが作っているあの大きなロボットもスクラップとして処分させてもらいますからね。
Disposed of.
いや
That's just kind of
それはさすがに。
やります。
nice.
優勝すればいいんですね。約束しましたよ。絶対に守ってくださいよ。
もちろんですわ。ロボ部こそ条件はきちんと守りなさい。
It's impossible. Robo 1 isn't the same as when Misune competed, plus neither me nor Akiho has been in a competition like that. In other words, the whole situation was manufactured specifically.
優勝はさすがに。
話は以上です。
She swats me down like I'm a fly. I look towards Michi for help. However, he's standing at attention and grimacing. Wait, are his eyes closed? You damn traitor. What a useless advisor.
失礼します。
Akio bows deeply and exits with squared shoulders.
失礼しました。
I leave the savage atmosphere of the faculty room and take a deep breath. This is real bad, I think to myself as I rub my exceedingly empty stomach. Akio is still has a stern expression on her face, standing with her fists clenched tight. I don't want Akio to push herself too hard. Neither of us are in the physical condition for that.
アキちゃん、とりあえずさ、お腹空かない？
絶対勝つ。
無理でしょ、いくらなんでも。
How could we possibly just show up and win? I saw the New Year's Eve tourney online, and the robots were all incredible. Robo 1 isn't something you can just join and win on a whim. We have literally nothing working in our favor right now.
無理だってアキちゃん。ゴーノーゴー判断はノーゴーだ。
I repeat myself just to
ロボ
confirm
部
it.
はもう終わりさ。ここまでよく持った方だよ。
I want Akio to give up. There's nothing wrong with taking it easy.
諦めたら叶う夢も叶わなくなるよ。
だってそもそもホビーロボットなんて俺たち持ってないでしょうが。
She does have a point. The moment you give up are when your dreams go from achievable to unachievable, because obviously you gave up. You know, makes sense.
おお。
I can tell by the look on her face that she's finally realized that simple
本
fact.
当に何も考えずに共闘の条件を飲んだわけね。
カイ、どうしたらいいかな。
いや、俺に聞かれてもね。
やる気なし人間。このままじゃ廃部なのに。はあ、ダメだダメだ。諦めない。大丈夫。なんとかなる。うちは無駄に前向きなのが唯一の取り柄なんだから。
Akio slaps both of her cheeks in an attempt to pump herself up as she tries to convince herself that it'll all be
疾
okay.
風怒涛の元気一発頑張れる。ジャキーン。
Jackie! In the middle of the hallway, she suddenly thrusts her fist into
ほら、
the air.
カイも一緒に。疾風怒涛
いや、
の。やってよ。
Not happening. It's way too embarrassing. Everyone around us is giving us looks. Some recognize us as the robot club and immediately
俺に
understand.
一緒にやらせたいならキルバラで勝負。
しないし。
しなくていいなら俺昼飯買ってくるから。あんじゃ。
My stomach is at its limit, so I'll leave Akio and hurry off.
元気一発頑張れる。
To be honest, I'm not seeing much spirit. Aw, she's not feeling too good. I open my umbrella and I make my way towards the convenience store.
夢ね。
Akio's dream is to enter Gunvero Prototype Model 1 in the Expo and win the Grand Prix. It's fine to have dreams, but right now we're like frogs in a well. Heck, even down in a well, that you wouldn't feel this sucky.
そりゃ夢は叶うのが一番だけどさ。
But if everyone's dreams came true, the world probably wouldn't run right anymore. Only a handful of people can make their dreams come true. The overwhelming majority of people in the world have no choice but to give up on their dreams. I'm no exception to the rule. Akio was willing to push herself to the limit from the very beginning. She's the type who charges into things face first without even considering her body's condition. That's how she's always been. To be honest, I want to hold her by the back of the collar and stop her.
腹減った。
I mean, that's kind of true though. If everyone did achieve their dreams, then, well, it's impossible for that to be a fact, you know? You know how many people in the NFL want to be the MVP? It's impossible for them all to be, you know? Same thing with the NFL champion of the Super Bowl, you know? You just can't, everyone can't be that person, you know? Sure, in that case, there's quite a few people who do, but, I mean, we're talking about, you know, a champion, maybe a few hundred, but as an MVP, only a few dozen out of the hundreds or even thousands of people who play in the NFL on a year-to-year basis. You know, it's tough. There's so many people who want to be president of the United States, who want to, you know, be a CEO. If everyone got to have their dreams, then, well, it's impossible. That it would be a paradox. So sometimes you got to either lower your dreams, change your dreams, or just simply give up, and it's really depressing, you know, to think about, to be honest. But he's not wrong at the same time. There's plenty of things that I wanted to do when I was a kid that I would never be able to accomplish. I mean, hell, some of my dreams, like, you know, being able to afford surgery and stuff, are kind of pretty much out of reach. So, I mean, it's possible still, but it's something that you can't get too set on, you know? And it can be difficult to give that up, for sure. But wait, the bell's ringing? Is lunch break already over? I don't have the time to go to Mizuka-san's store.
嫌になっちゃうよな。
As soon as I complain, my stomach growls again and I dejectedly return to the classroom hungry. You'll survive. There are plenty of people who don't get to eat lunch. After school, I plant myself firmly in the empty classroom and munch on some bread while diving deep into KB. Akio went off with Michi somewhere and hasn't come back. During our afternoon classes, she seemed to be there in body but not in spirit. I hope she's okay. As the only other member of the robot club, I should really be there for Akio, but in truth, I don't actually want to help. Whoops. This is clearly a trap laid by the VP. We have no way of coming out on top in this, so my efforts would be wasted. Between matches, I stretch out and cast my gaze out the window. Huge raindrops fall from the sky relentlessly.
俺はどう動くべきかね。
I'm certain Akio isn't just going to take this sitting down, so I need to come up with a plan on my own. My number one priority is to keep Akio from pushing herself too hard.
とりあえず、土砂降りになる前に帰るか。
It's weird because, like, he doesn't want to support her dreams, but at the same time, he doesn't want to just completely let her go. I mean, why not just be there and support her through it, you know, and if you do, try. Because, sure, you might not be able to win, right? But if you put in the effort and you put in, you know, everything you can into building this robot and getting it out there, then you can at least be there for Akiho when she, if she does fail. You know, if it doesn't turn out good, then you could be there right by her side and make sure that she's okay and you can figure it out together, you know? But just being like, oh, I hope she gives up and I'm just going to kind of be here, I guess, and not really do anything I don't think that's going to be all that helpful. At the end of the day, it's common for people to keep putting off the problems that are right in front of them. Procrastination, how could you?
うわ、高い。
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to end off the episode as he looks for some robots, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you then.